everybody, welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 75. All right, well, there is a lot to discuss, clearly. I know that on the previous episode, I shared at the beginning of the episode that my cousin Joanna passed away. And ever since I recorded that episode, I packed up my things and flew back to Boston. There's a lot going on because, we have this COVID-19 around, Chinese virus, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is around. And it is killing motherfuckers. It's killing people and it's creating anxiety. And I initially was just going to stay home prior to getting the news about my cousin. I was just going to stay in Houston in my apartment, cooped up. I like being alone. There was not going to be an issue. I wasn't going to feel, it was nothing for me. I'm typically a homey type of person. I'm a homebody for sure. But once I got the news, I booked the next flight and flew my ass back to Boston to stay here with my family. And I'm so glad I did that. Because when I got the news, I was home. I was in my apartment in Houston, and I was just shocked. I haven't dealt with anything this direct when it comes to death. I have friends who have lost loved ones, family who have lost loved ones, but that family member will be a little distant from me, or, I didn't grow up with that person maybe, or there's nobody as close to me as Joanna was throughout my life. I grew up with her, I knew her my whole 29 years of living, and she was a huge part of my life. She and I just had very similar personalities, connected on a lot of different things. Just, she understood me, I understood her, and we were just that. We were kindred spirits. I am still, of course, grieving, and initially, the first few days, I felt like, okay, is this real? Is this really what it is? I really can't call her right now. I really can't just pick up the phone and hear her voice anymore. It's just, you go through these moments of denial, and I think with the whole grieving stages, the stages doesn't come at a particular part. You could feel angry one day and the next day you're in acceptance, right? You accept and you embrace the reality of what it is. And yet you're sad again. So I've been practicing gratitude throughout my grieving process. I've been thinking about so many moments and experiences I've had with Joanna, and that has really kept me up. Of course I cry, of course I break down from time to time, but then I realized I can't, no matter how many times I cry, it doesn't bring her back. It just continues the state of reality that I'm living in. And so I train myself to think in gratitude. I'm grateful to have had so many experiences with her. I'm grateful to have had so many conversations with her. I'm grateful to have had her shine her wisdom upon me. And she was my friend, my friend. You know how you have family members and it's okay, they're family, period. But if we weren't family, we would have still been close. That's how close we were. So yeah, it's been hard, but I am grateful that I am here, home in Boston. And because I think about when I got the news, I was in my apartment by myself, of course, and I get a call from my father, and he's calling me late at night, and he doesn't do that. What's going on? I immediately knew something was wrong, but I'm trying to think positive because I didn't want to manifest any negativity, manifest your thoughts becomes things, all that bullshit, but it's real. It is real. But sometimes it'd be I don't want to hear that, So anyway, I get the phone call, and I'm told Joanna's dead. Joanna's dead. Joanna, and I'm just like, wait, what? I'm sorry, what? Just not understanding what are you saying right now? Because I literally just texted her 2 days ago, and it's just so anyway, got more confirmation on it because I'm hoping like maybe you got the wrong news, maybe the doctor spoke too soon because maybe I don't know, maybe the doctor spoke too soon, but that's not something doctors do. You can't falsely tell someone that their loved one passed away and then figure out, oh, actually that didn't happen. But I was hoping that, some miraculous moment will happen where when she would just wake up, people, that happens, you get into a coma and you're in a coma for 3 months and then boom, you're up and going again. So it is plausible, but it wasn't in this case. So got the news, I'm breaking down, I'm crying, I'm alone. But I'm talking to my family on the phone and I'm just realizing like I can't do this on my own. I have to be home. I was gonna be home anyway, but then I was thinking about the whole like what are we doing this time? Because I'm hearing in the news you can't have funerals at this time. Funerals are very restricted, limited, if they're even allowing funerals to happen. So I'm like, I cannot not be home, if a funeral does happen, which it did happen. And that was a really hard day, So I flew in 2 days after I got the news, and we're preparing for the funeral in a few days from that time. The funeral already happened, and the Thursday that's coming up is really about to be the day when we bury Joanna. Like, this is not even real. It's just you go through these emotions and then you see it in real time and it's like, wow, you're really not here anymore. You're really gone. And you know what's so funny? The day I received the news, I was having a great day. It was April 15th when I got the news. She passed away late that night, and that day was such a great day for me. I got my stimulus check. I was chilling, like happy. I had a great day teaching my class through Zoom. I did this cool little feature called breakout rooms on Zoom, and that was just so fun to me. Like, I like that cool little techie stuff. And it was just a really cool day. I was hitting up the group chat that I had with my family, saying, okay, what trip we going on to? I got money. Like, how we doing this 9 to 5 shit? How y'all do this 9 to 5 shit? Like, I'm done. Just happy. And no one was responding. And I'm like, okay, maybe people are just busy. But I'm just like, okay, it's been a couple of hours. Typically, Joanna, who was a part of the group chat, she will be the one to quickly respond to me because she and I will be the ones who will mostly talk in the group chat. So I'm expecting for her to just laugh with me or whatever. And I still didn't get a response in the group chat. It was hours later. So I'm like, what? Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to think anything more of it. On my couch watching my show, and I'm suddenly getting visions in my head. Like, I'm suddenly strongly daydreaming, evening dreaming of Joanna. And I'm thinking of a particular moment in time when we went to a wedding, one of her friends' wedding. I think it was a coworker of hers. And we went to her wedding in the summer of 2018. And it was me, Joanna, and Joanna's sister, Felicia. And we were just having a really, like, I was just suddenly just thinking about that time. Like, it just randomly popped up in my mind, literally randomly popped up in my mind. And I'm thinking about the jokes that me and Joanna was making and how much we were singing with each other, at the table in the wedding. And it was just a really good time that we had. We were just joking, laugh. It was such a good time. And I still remember, and when I was thinking about that, I was remembering my feelings in that moment, how joyful I was, how happy I was, how loving I am to her, and how much whenever I'm with her, I feel those emotions just naturally. Like, she pulls out joy, she pulls out love, she pulls out just happiness from me. And whenever we're together, it's always like that. So that memory just came into my mind so vividly. And I was just like smiling to myself while watching TV. And I typically do talk to myself, hence this podcast. But I was really thinking about her at that moment. And then 2-3 hours later, I get a call from my father telling me that she passed away. So I just, I think it's, like I was saying before, you're reminded of mortality and how we can't escape that, and how it's just something, we all have our time, and it's still hard, of course, and it's still unbelievable, yet I still find ways to think in joy, think in gratitude. But I do want to switch this conversation over to talking about funeral etiquette. And let's talk about a couple of things. Let's talk about a couple of things when one attends a funeral, whether you are a close family member or a distant family member. Let's discuss how to behave when you're at a funeral service, a burial, whatever the fuck it is. Let's talk about how to act, okay? Because in the midst of my despair, in the midst of my sadness, you could still spot out bullshit, right? Like, look, I gotta find some things to laugh at. So that's how I am. Y'all know this. But you still spot out BS. You still recognize when things shouldn't happen and when things aren't going according to plan. And unfortunately, funerals are one of the main events when you do see things that are so annoying that you can't just ignore, So anyway, let's talk about the funeral. So I have like an aunt, let's just say family member so let me just give a context on my family. Like, most of us, we do not react loudly. We do not react with strong emotion. And even in the midst of this time, of course we're crying, of course we're sad. But when we all reach a point of calmness in our sadness, that's where we all are, right? So one of my family members came up, and she's at the before the burial, but she's at, the open casket moment, and she's just wailing, okay? Wailing, okay? Sailing. What's that song? Sailing? Anyway, wailing down, okay? To the point where, bitch, are you okay? Like, all right. Please calm down. That's really where we are, And it's like, why? It sounds so crazy though, because it's like, bitch, let her be sad. And of course, I didn't say anything. I'm letting her be sad. We're all sad, but like, how when you pass that part of that screaming sad, that wailing sad, that hysterically crying sad, and you've reached that calmness, yet the person next to you hasn't gotten there yet, and it's like, it's messing up your vibe. Like, sis, I'm gonna need you to calm down, please. So, there's some etiquette around that. I feel like, you kind of got to read the room, and maybe I'm too present. Like, I could feel and read out emotions and the energy in the room. So like, I just don't feel comfortable wailing when it's super silent in the room. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel comfortable screaming and talking out loud and why did I doing all of that, which, look, everyone is different and it's fine. It is what it is. But I just kind of feel like, look, sis, can we just calm down? Can we keep it at a low volume? We are outside, and the neighbors, like, it's just a little much. It's a little much. So there's that. And I also, so this is the second part. When everyone receives the news that, about her passing, they're reaching out to the family, reaching out to me, sending their condolences. And that's so sweet. And I appreciate every condolence I receive. That's really sweet. But when you haven't talked to somebody in a while, What is wrong with me? Something is the problem. Something is the matter, okay? No, but I did receive a condolence from, a distant ex. And it's just, it is sweet. I appreciate it. I responded to every single one that I received from, everybody. But it's just interesting because I remember saying in a previous podcast, talking about like, how sometimes people will use just something has an excuse to kind of shoot you a text, to check in on you. And it's like, nigga, I'm good. It's like, I mean, look, I do appreciate it. I'm not gonna keep on saying it. I'm not gonna disqualify what I'm saying by that, but it's just really funny because it's like some people who I haven't received a direct condolence from, it's just like, oh, okay, I kind of expected you to be the one to hit me up more than this distant ex of mine who I haven't talked to this nigga in how long? And he's talking about, first of all, why do you still have my number? And I did not have his number. And I knew he knew that because he texted me, and in his initial text, he ended it with his name, so like his signature or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's smart, because I would have been like, who is this? But I'm good in figure out who a person is based off of how they write and deliver a text message. So I would have figured it out, and I would have like looked at the numbers and really thought to myself, who is this person? So I would have figured out anyway. But it was funny how he just left his name right after, the text that he sent. But it's just, I think during this time, everyone grieves differently, and I do have sympathy for everyone's level of grief, everyone's, way of grieving. Some people are introverted with their grieving, and they just, stick to themselves and don't speak about it and don't really talk about it, stay in a corner, and that's fine. I think that sometimes could be problematic, but look, eventually it does, hopefully it does fall, like they release their emotions. And then you have people who are expressive, who are, feeding off of the energy of other people to help them to get through it. Like as much as I am an introvert in so many ways, I really needed to be with my family. Like I could not have grieved alone in Houston in my apartment by myself, like without, like I could not have done it on my own. And the first 2 days when I did, I just was in a state of shock. Like I need to go. That's how I was feeling. So I'm the type of griever who needs to be with people, like even if I'm not talking to you every day, maybe just the presence, maybe just the knowing of someone else is in this house with me makes me feel better, so that's how I've been handling it. And what's amazing when I think of condolences, like there are some people, like I am so in awe of how well my job has reached out to me. Like I never in my, like, I'm the type of person, I'm very closed off in when it comes to work relationships, because I remember just starting off working like in my teenage years and thinking, oh, everyone's my friend. Everyone's nice. They're my friend, blah, blah, blah. And my sister had to beat it down to me, and my mom had to beat it down to me that they aren't your friends. Your coworkers aren't your friends. They're your coworkers, period. No matter how nice they may be, no matter how great a conversation you may have, no matter how cool of a chit chat you may have with them, they are not your friends. They're your coworkers. So I had to start unlearning just some of the things that I would think about initially when I would work with somebody, and start adopting that mindset. They're not my friends, they're my coworkers. And of course, I have experience with coworkers who would talk shit about me, would, kind of not hold me to a high light, and could possibly put my job at risk, put my position at risk, whatever the case is. So of course, there are those people you got to look out for. Yet again, you can still develop strong relationships with coworkers, and that turn into a strong friendship. You know what I mean? Like, it's not completely out of the ballpark. You can potentially meet someone through a work relationship and gain a solid, trusted friendship. And And when I say my colleagues, my admin team at my job, like everyone really reached out and just showed their love. And I've been so closed off to the potential of even receiving said love from colleagues, from superiors at job. Like I don't even open myself up enough to allow for them to show their comfort, show their care. And I was crying in addition to just the sadness that I was already feeling. I was crying in the outpour of love. Like, wow, this is what love feels like. It's so weird. Like, this is what it feels to let people in, to be vulnerable and to receive love. Like, this is amazing. When I tell you I received like food, gifts, like just my coworkers. Like I always just thought like, okay, not always, but I since thought, I gotta just not think about coworkers as people who I could really fuck with. Like, okay, let me just keep them at a distance, boom, boom, boom. But to receive just food and outpour of love in different ways is just, it's so nice, And I just think about like, wow, I need to allow myself to open up, to let people in. And yes, and do it with guard, do it with caution. Yes. And allow yourself to receive that love, So that was just amazing to feel. And I just, I'm just so grateful for that. Everybody who reached out, like near or far, even that distant ex, I still appreciate it. But don't think, let me just make this very motherfucking clear. I don't think you heard me. And I'm going to say it again. Don't use grief as a way to fuck with niggas who you stop fucking with. Like, the door is still closed. Okay, thank you, and goodbye. So that's where I'm at. I that's what the fuck it is. Anyway, we're gonna shift gears and give a little hair update. A bitch cut her locks off. Yes, drops mic. Take off headphones, check your armpits. I said I cut off my locks, okay? Now, I am saying this because of course, this podcast, the cover art has, a cartoon image of me when I had locks. And throughout this podcast, the start of this podcast is with me with locks, and I've had my locks for 2 years. If you follow me on Instagram, you see my lock journey. But I never really was the type to, oh, my locks reached shoulder length, or oh, I could put my locks in a bun. Like I didn't save posts on my feed. Instead, like I will post, just naturally Instagram, stories of whatever I'm doing, and you just happen to see my hair and you make a comment, cool. But I never post an intentional post about my hair. I never really was like that lock girl. I'm not, like, I just didn't really care. I never counted my locks. It was just like, all right, I wanted to lock my hair 2 years ago because really I was tired of doing my hair. I just two-strand twisted it and I never took it out. And I also did that because, like, okay, so I never took it out. And then I remember, like, just looking at a couple people on Instagram and seeing how they started their locks, and they just did it with two-strand twists. I'm like, oh, if I just leave my hair in two-strand twists, it'll lock on its own. So that's what I did. And I just never took it out. But it wasn't like I was longing for locks forever. I do remember a point in time a few years ago, before I was locked, I was just loose natural, and I did say how, I'll lock my hair eventually, and I did, and I ended up doing, I ended up doing that years later. But I appreciate the journey. I loved how and just the whole natural hair journey. But I do remember specifically in the lock journey, doing it with two strand twists, I went through it, like the quote unquote ugly stage. My parents not understanding, rationing me. With Haitian parents, there's a particular standard, a beauty standard that you have to uphold, and it's it is what it is. But I had to kind of fight that expectation, fight that disapproval. Like I was living at home at that time, so I was constantly just battling with just the confidence or the lack of confidence others had on me about my beauty. Like, think about that. You got to deal with other people's lack of confidence of how you look. The fuck? Like, I'm already dealing with my own self-esteem. Like, this is not helpful. This is not it. Anyway, I'm glad I pushed through with it, because I just really love the journey. I love how I was building my own confidence. I was building my self-esteem. I was loving myself. I wasn't reliant on my hair as my only source of beauty. Prior to being locked, I was loose natural for, I want to say 3 years. Honestly, I don't keep track. I don't do all that. Oh, it's been 3 years locked. Like I know it's been 2 years locked that I had my hair locked, but I don't know. I don't keep track of stuff like that. I just do it and move on. That's how I am. I don't do it and move on. Like, I don't like to spend too much time. Just do it and fucking move on. That's it. Okay. So, but yeah, previous to that, with the natural hair journey, I didn't just immediately cut off my hair. I grew it out enough to have a tois, a teeny weeny afro. And, that's when I did the big chop. But during that process, I hardly wore, initially, in the beginning of my natural hair journey, I did not really wear protective styles. I didn't wear weaves. I didn't wear wigs. I didn't wear braids that much in the beginning. And I was really just showing my hair. Like, I was going through it. But through that, I loved myself. Like, I appreciated who I am. I recognized that my hair doesn't define me. Like, I am not my hair. Whole India Irie up in this, okay? That was me. And that was me still during the lock stages. There's a stage that you have to go through if you do it the natural way. And that is shade. Let me say this because I think, we live in this PC society where, everyone, you just do it your way, and that's cool, and I'll do it your way. But let's give respect to those who really did it, right? Who really went natural, who really locked their hair and did it from the gutter, okay? When I tell you I two-strand twist my own head, okay? I allowed my new growth to be new growth. I didn't retwist it until maybe 6 months. Nigga, you saw my journey. There was no pretending. It was not hidden under anything. I didn't wear wigs. I didn't wear any of that. Yes, give me a trophy. Give me a badge, because I really, I wouldn't say it's a slap in the face, but it's something, it's a little cringy when you have, people around you. You have women around you who goes lock, who decide to lock their hair, and they literally one day, okay, so it's Wednesday, for example. It's a Wednesday, their hair's loose natural, and then the next day, nigga, it's Thursday, and your hair's locked? How is it locked? My hair took maybe 4 months to lock. I don't honestly, I didn't count, but you saw the journey, and my hair is thick 4C hair, so it locked probably quicker than the softer hair textures out there. But my hair, you saw how it locked. You saw the transition of a clear two-strand twist to a whole bud, a whole lock, tangled ass bud, okay? And to see someone else just immediately get to that stage and their hair's already looking superb and just a fresh retwist, it's like, please don't talk to me. No, you don't know what it is to be locked, please. Yes, and I'm saying that, I'm sticking to that, because it's really funny. It's really funny when people like to just, it's like when you are crossing in a fraternity or a sorority, you don't get respect when you don't get made. That's what they say. You got to get made first. You got to get beaten up a couple of times, you nigga, okay? Shit, you got to accidentally fall into someone else's lap to get into the sorority. What are we doing? You mean to tell me you just filled out an application, you're an AKA? If you don't sit down, oh, so you just filled out this application and now you're an Omega Sci-Fi. All right. If you don't sit down, like, point me to whatever they call it, probate. I don't know. Like, that's just, it doesn't make sense. Go through the process with me. Don't be the next day your hair's already locked. What is that? Anyway, I say all that to say, it's like, I don't say all that to say anything about what I'm going to say next. But my point is, just go through the process. And when I went through the process, I learned more of myself. I loved more of myself. And you really can't tell me shit. Like, I remember being younger and, like, as soon as someone said they didn't find me attractive, or whenever I would get clowned for my physical appearance, for whatever it is, I would feel that. I would let that resonate, and I would just stay in that funk. Like, I would just allow the opinions of others to really tell me who the fuck I am. And being 29 years old, pushing myself to go through these natural hair journeys and realizing how much I allowed my hair to tell me who I am, or how I allowed others to tell me who I am, I realized that's a problem. So going through this process really showed me how much I love myself and how much I'm the shit, period. Okay, so anyway, I cut my hair because I wanted to. I cut my locks because I wanted. That's really it. That's the tweet. That's it. You know, yes, there's more reasons to it, but like, the primary reason, you want to. You know, you want to move forward. Like, I wanted to move forward from the style. I wanted to just, okay, I wanted to change. I wanted to change my look. That's it. And I also think about, like, and this, like, more maintenance and beauty reasons behind it too, and I'll get to that. But initially, you know, I think sometimes we don't give credit to just wanting to do something to be your reason to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to have a whole soliloquy, a whole thesis statement written out about why you did something. Bitch, you wanted to? Okay, that's why you did it. Got it. Period. So that's it, right? That's the first reason. And I also think about this. Okay. I honestly, I think I got also tired of the look. I really loved when my hair looked when it was two-strand twisted in that lock style. But when it wasn't in that lock style, I felt like my ends wasn't as finished. You know, there was still lint in my hair even after I would wash it. And it felt like my hair wasn't still completely done, you know? And it got quickly, I think quickly it needed to be done after I've already gotten it styled, right? So it was just a lot. And with 4C hair, it's a type of hair where some people would just think, oh, did you get your hair done? Did you not get, like, it's like, bitch, what? And it's not to say I don't, you know, yes, I'm confident who I am. Yes, I love myself, and I've gone out plenty of times without having a fresh retwist. I'm not a slave to that. I'm not. And I could also say it's annoying. It's annoying when, you know, you just got your hair done, or you thought you did at least, and it's like, bitch, it's not. Like, this is fucking not. Can we just say that? Anyway, it's that, and it's also like, I think there's well, I don't want to say this without offending anyone, but really, who the fuck cares? There is a lack of maturity look when it comes to locks. For me, let's say that for me. And maybe let's say that for my type of hair texture. I feel like with my type of hair texture, and I have 4C hair again, I feel like I don't look like the adult that I am. I'm 29 years old, and I don't feel like my hair reflects adult 29 years old. I feel like it reflects maybe kind of kiddish. You know, maybe it's still a little childish. I don't know. I'm thinking about all of that, and I'm thinking about, like, you know, just my ends, like still, like I would still get lint in my ends even after washing it. It'll just kind of stay and remain, and it'll just annoy me. And I just saw like, okay, I really mostly liked my roots and how it was nice and fresh. And even when it wasn't too fresh, I liked it more because my ends felt like too, like it just wasn't right for me. It just wasn't right. I do appreciate how much my hair grew. Like for it to be just 2 years, and I don't even want to say a complete 2 years, like maybe a year and a couple of months. Maybe a year, a couple of months, but for it to be just that amount of time, and my hair has grown, like my hair grew so much, like bitch, like a little bit below shoulder, like it was growing. And for it to, and you felt the weight, the heaviness of it too, like I felt like the weight of it. And I knew that like while I was washing my hair, you know how you wash your hair is more stretched out. So I saw that, I felt that, and I just loved how much my hair grew. But then what I didn't like was that, okay, it grew, but it grew in the context of being locked, right? I want my hair to grow still natural. I don't want to perm my hair, not at all. I'm not putting any chemical in my hair, but I don't want to only think of my hair like, oh, it grows, but it grows in locks. Like, I just feel like that's a cheap way. Like, I think it's so easy to grow. That's really what it is. I think it's easier to grow your hair in locks because with locks, at least with my locks, like, you're not doing much to it. Like, I'm not manipulating my hair too much. I'm not doing all these crazy styles. I keep it very simple and straight. I'm very simple, okay? It's either a 2-strand twist or just a regular retwist. Ain't nothing extra, I know there's a lot of people who do just like those updo styles, and then when you do that too much, your hair does it does thin out. So those thick locks that you may have had initially are now thinning out. And so, I mean, that wasn't my case anyway, so that was fine for me. And that allowed my hair to grow. I'm assuming so, because I really just kind of got to the point. Did my hair, rusted, didn't really play with it, touch. I mean, I did touch it, but I didn't really like, I'm gonna do this style. No, it was very simple. Anyway, so I say all that, and I think about like, I just like evolving. I do like change. I do like moving on to the next step. I don't want to feel stagnant. I don't want to feel like a slave to my hair. You know, I know there's a stereotype of like, well, you're locked, you're locked forever. Think of just the term locked. You're locked down. You are trapped. You are put under. And that's how I was seeing it. Like, okay, I don't want to be a slave to my hair, and I don't want to stay locked if I'm done with this style. Like, I could leave. Like, I'm not fucking, sentenced in prison. I could go. And people will have their opinions, the lock community. I wasn't a part of any like specific lock community, but yes, I do know people who are locked, who are in my surroundings. And look, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think. I really don't care what anyone thinks. It is what it is. It's my hair. I don't really care if I receive pushback or not, but I know, what I do anticipate receiving is people who do praise length. There's a lot of people, especially people in the Black community, the Haitian community, they see length, long hair. They see that as beauty. This is the standard of beauty. You're beautiful because you have long hair. Oh my God, look at how much your hair has grown. Wow. They prize it. This is a status symbol. And I cut off my locks, meaning I cut off the parts that were locked, and I cut it to the part where my new growth is, and my hair is a twa again, a teeny weeny afro. I'm able to still, I washed it and everything. I 2-strand twisted it, not to lock it again, but I 2-strand twisted it to just, create a nice little fro once I do a twist out. And my natural hair girls know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I hope, sorry to the men out there who probably don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but please stick with me. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is, do what the fuck you want. That's really it. That's the point. And my hair is still political. I know I had a previous episode, a couple of episodes back, when I talked about how locking my hair is political, and just natural hair is political. I think also it's just about being who you are, standing in who you are is political, being proud of who God built. This podcast really stemmed from being proud in who God created you to be, not allowing shame from others, from your own self, not allowing that to deter you from being who you were created to be, and that looks like a number of different things, but just embracing your natural self. And that's just always been me, whether locked or not. That was me when I was natural hair, and that was me when I was locked, and that's now me again, natural hair. And when I tell y'all, so I cut it. Okay, I don't like telling the day. Anyway, I cut it, just recently. And prior to me cutting, I was thinking about cutting it. I was thinking about initially combing out the locks. But I thought to myself, nigga, what the fuck? I know we got time and all because of quarantine, but no, I don't care how much time I have. I'm not doing that. And it was painful. Like, I remember I tried with one lock, and I was like, yeah, this is not coming out loose. Like, it'll be one thing if I had softer texture hair, then sure, I'm sure it'll be easier. And maybe if I had super thick, if I really started like Rasta locks, like super thick, is that Rasta locks? I don't know. But if I had super thick hair, then that'd be a different case. Cool. But being that none of that is my situation, I'm cutting these locks off. Like, I'm not, what are we doing? What are we talking about? No, let me cut my hair. Give me a bag. Give me a plastic bag. Boom, boom. And so it was eating me up because I knew I wanted to do it, yet I was allowing fear. Can you believe that? Fear. Mind you, I've had a teeny weeny afro before. Mind you, I've been naturally loose haired before. All of these things are nothing new to me, but being that I'm going back to a time when, I've already moved on from that point, and that point was not so, like, it wasn't all the way happy, because I had to deal with the opinions of others, and I was still going through my own self. I was still hesitant. I was still thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? I'm going to go through this again. Oh my gosh, what would my nigga think? Boston babe, the fuck? What would he think? But then I thought to myself, who the fuck cares? Like, I had to have a reality check with my own self. Because sometimes we have to check ourselves. Sometimes we have to say, self, if this is what you want to do, don't let anyone or anything or even yourself get in the way of that. Please cut the shit. I'm still a badass bitch. So there's that. And it's like, what are we doing? So yeah, it was 2 days. I was just like, it was just sitting on my head, like just the thought of me prolonging this needed action to finally do it. Then I finally took the scissors and I cut. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And of course, I was needing help. There is something about finding other people who have gone through what you're going through, right? So I was on YouTube, just YouTubing people cut locks or combing locks. First, I was looking at that, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna comb out my locks. That's not happening. And I was thinking about, anyway, locks is really just shed hair locking together. Like, it's gonna have to be cut. Like, whether you comb it out anyway, when you go to a professional stylist, they're gonna have to cut that hair off. So what am I holding on to? And this goes deeper, right? Like, what am I holding on to? Am I holding on to this standard that people have embedded in me, has this beauty standard? What am I holding on to? Cut off what needs to be cut off, right? Cut off, let go of things that are not serving you. So I cut that shit off. I cut it off. And I felt good. I felt good as I was doing it. I felt so good. And once I finally got through every lock in my head, I was like, yes, like I just felt like I needed to feel this. Like this was relieving for me. I felt like myself more. And I'm not saying I didn't feel like myself previously when I was locked, but I felt like this is what I needed to feel. I felt complete in myself. So I was excited about that. And another reason of me wanting to just finally cut off my locks was, I'm 29 years old. And this goes back to what I was saying previously about not wanting to be not wanting to kind of look childish, or lack any type of maturity. Yes, I joke around, and that may add on to my appearance of maybe not looking as mature, right? And I do naturally look a little younger than my age, maybe, sure, whatever. My body don't know. Anyway, so I was thinking to myself, like, I really want to tap into my sexy more, like full force, like bad bitch mode. I'm about to be 30 next year, and I just think like I don't want to do that lock shit no more. Like that's just it. Like I wanna silk press my hair. I won't be doing any chemicals. I won't be getting a perm again. So that's clear. But I could still achieve a straight hairstyle with a little bounce, with a little curl. By doing a silk press. My loctician, well, she was my loctician. She does do natural hairstyles, so she does do silk presses. So I'll just go to her for silk press, and continue to treat my natural hair accordingly, of course. And when I want to straighten it out, I can, and give that little glam look that I want to have for myself, and I love when I used to wear box braids. Oh my God, I love box braids. I miss box braids. And I'm so excited that I could get back to that. I remember being locked, and I was thinking like, I wonder if I could get box braids while being locked. And I know I saw maybe a few videos, but the look didn't look too well. And I think it explained the reason why there were so many low, like there was a lack of videos that showed what the fuck am I gonna say? That showed locks that could turn into box braids. So that speaks enough, So I missed that, and getting Marley twists. I love those, but I really love my box braids. So I'm just excited. I'm excited for the versatility that my hair could be styled in, and I do remember being, a few years ago when I said, I'm gonna lock my hair, and I'm glad that I did what I said I was gonna do. But I remember my hesitation at that time was, it's not versatile. What if I wanted to straighten my hair the next day? I can't. And yeah, that's true. I couldn't. Yes, locks are versatile though. Like you could do different styles. You could do an updo. You could have curly locks. You could have straight locks. You could dye your locks. All that is cool, but that is nothing like a straight silk press, curly bounce, shiny ass style. There's nothing like that running your fingers through your hair. There's nothing like combing your hair. And I think that's another reason why my hair grew so much, because I didn't comb it. There's something to not running a comb through your hair that allows it to just be and breathe and grow. So I think that helped it too. So I'm gonna hopefully not use a comb too much, because I do want to achieve a longer length. I did like that look, so I do want to achieve that, but that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate my hair the way it is right now in a teeny weeny afro. So anyway, I say all that to say, I'm excited. I'm really excited for this new journey that I'm on. I'm excited for the endless amount of hairstyles that I will explore. I was never really like a weave head. I never really was a wig head. I never really felt comfortable wearing that, because it just felt like a hat on my head, and maybe it was the wrong person doing my hair, or maybe I'm just looking at it differently. I don't know, but I do see a lot of pretty girls on my Instagram, whether they're my friends or just strangers who I follow, and they would have weave in their hair, or would it be a lace or whatever it is, and it just looks it doesn't look like a hat. Like, y'all know the weaves I'm talking about, where it looks like girl, did you just put that on? Like literally before you walked out, you just put that on? Like, what's happening? So I don't know. I don't want that. But I do want to just be open and explore how that will look. Look, I'm about to be 30 next year, and I'm so grateful, God willing, life is short, and I don't want to not do something because of just silly reasons, fear of what others may think or whatever it is. So standing who you are, God built this, boom, 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 clank. All right. I want to get into this Joe Biden sexual assault case. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to believe, and that's no shade to the woman, Tara Reid, who has accused Joe Biden of sexually assaulting her. Here's what I do want to say, though. I think it's very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. And y'all know I love The View. Hello, Stan, okay? Someday they will sponsor this show. Fuck, someday I will be on the show talking, as a panelist. I love that show down, but I'm very disappointed in how they handle this, because there's been so many episodes, so many conversations of the ladies talking down about Donald Trump and bringing up all of his sexual allegations and talking so honestly, so candidly about that, and immediately believing the woman, right? Believe all women, believe all women. Yet, and you even have, for example, Sunny Hostin, okay? Sunny, who's a lawyer, who would always say, believe all women. I believe the woman. I was a prosecutor, or was she, I think she was a prosecutor, and she, put in jail many rapists, many, molesters, pedophiles, and she had to deal with cases of women who were sexually abused, and them going and kind of walk them through them going through the process of putting in prison their perpetrators, right? So she was really speaking for survivors, for victims. And for their lack of coverage on this allegation against Joe Biden, I'm just really appalled, because there's a bigger conniving situation happening here. You have the Democratic Party, who will do anything and everything, understandably so, with good reason though, to get rid of Donald Trump, right? To rid him out the office, and to just get him the fuck out, get him out, right? They impeached him, but obviously that didn't go far. It's null and void. This whole COVID thing kind of trumped all of that, and that hasn't been spoken about, right? But he is impeached, but he's not, there's no, where's the process after that? No one's talking about that anymore, Anyway, you have all this hoo-ha against Donald Trump, and yet when Joe Biden, this beloved person, this person who was next to Obama, who we just saw as Uncle Joe. This is Uncle Joe. Joe got invited to the cookout. Joe, could come to the black church. Joe could give a little speech at the black church. Joe was that nigga. And, he is the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. And he's the hope to remove Trump from office. And cool. Okay, fine, whatever. I accepted the fact that Bernie is no longer in the race and he had to suspend his campaign. And there's this agenda to not really allow Bernie to be as radical and to be as, revolutionizing, whatever, as he is. But now that Joe is receiving all of these this allegation so far, and I just found out that there was a woman who at the age of 14 was sexually harassed by Joe Biden. Like there's cases now, to not even explore that as a topic amongst the ladies on The View is disappointing. And mind you, they only talked about it one time. Okay. This apparently has been used, this has been rumbling for the past 2 months now. And for it to just be one episode recently of them talking about this case, and for it to only be talked about because there's an outside correspondent who was a guest on The View that they talked to about the case with. That was the only reason why they talked about it. It just felt like a scripted, inauthentic exchange with like about this topic. It was not a gut-wrenching a emotional response as they have had with Donald Trump for so many episodes. And it really opened my eyes to see these motherfuckers don't really mean what they say. When they have an agenda, when their agenda is to simply get someone out, that's all they're doing. When they have an agenda to support a particular person, no matter what comes out against this person, it really doesn't matter, because it's going to be Joe, vote blue, no matter who, blah, blah. And it's like, at this point, I don't know. I'm not going to say, well, I don't know what to say about that. I was going to say, I'm not saying don't vote for rapists. That's not what I mean. But my point is, like, at least discuss it honestly, at least have this conversation and talk about your disappointment and your hurt about it. At least have that same energy that you had with Trump, right? You said believe all women, right, Sonny? What the fuck is that? And I know Meghan Cain is a conservative Republican, but her family is really close with Biden. He's a close family friend. So she is someone on The View who is not speaking candidly about this. And I'm hoping in an episode soon to come, they will talk about this more, and in more episodes, they will talk about it candidly. But for now, I'm really disappointed in how it's been handled. I'm disappointed in the whole Democratic Party. Honestly, this is honestly bullshit. Everybody don't really care unless they really don't care, right? What they do care about is pushing their agenda. The agenda is to remove Trump, right? But if the same allegations that made Trump look like a bad guy, right? And there's more that looks like a bad guy for Trump, but just when there's a commonality of rape, right? Of sexual abuse, of sexual assault between the sitting president and the push for this man to be the next sitting president, it's like, what world are we living in? You want this rapist or this rapist? Which one? You want rapist A or rapist B? Which one are we talking about? Because I just don't understand why we're living in a world where we have to choose between these two rapists. And of course, if you want to do, the Tea Party, if you want to vote Libertarian, then okay, do what you want. At this point, I'm just going to write down Bernie's name and give it a go, because I don't know what to do. I ain't got the time. I don't have the time. And I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, y'all. I've said a lot, and I appreciate everyone who tunes in, who tells a friend, and y'all are great. Should I say this one last thing? I do want to talk about Insecure real quick. So, yes, I am an Insecure fan, and yes, it's team fuck Molly, because that bitch is crazy. And just a simple weirdo. That's just what she is. But I more so want to talk about her. I think it's just a lack of maturity that she has, especially when it comes to relationships. When you're dating somebody, you need to be clear and cut, like very outspoken about what the fuck are we, are we together, are we not? Like, I don't believe in the whole what's understood doesn't need to be said. No. It needs to be written. It needs to be signed. It needs to be delivered. Nigga, what are we? What is our status? Am I your wife? Am I your woman? Are we only seeing each other? Like, I need you to paint it out to me, because I'm gonna act like I'm Booba the Fool. I don't know. What's my name? I'm gonna act all of that, because we need to communicate, okay? So she finds out that her Asian bae, Andrew, is seeing another woman, right? Not like that. That sounds like he's cheating on her, right? But he's just dating other people, and he said it casually, and it kind of took her off guard, because she was initially it came about because she joked with him once his phone rang, and she's like, "Oh, who's that? Your other boo?" And he's like, "Well, actually, it's someone else that I'm dating as well." Like, he kind of said it just very, slick and just straightforward. And maybe, I don't think it's a lie, because, maybe someone's thinking, okay, he should have said it earlier. I don't know. I don't really think that's what it is. Because when you have something like, we're dating, right? They may not have spent every day with each other, right? Maybe they go out, maybe they commit to twice a week. Maybe those times when they're going out, it's light work. Or they're going out, or not even on the episode, you'll see how their relationship was more physical than it was emotional, and then she eventually wanted more emotion from him, but they were more physical. And so I think Molly just has a lack of maturity when it comes to all relationships, okay? When it comes to her and Asian Bae, her and Issa Bae, her and her father Bae. Like, fuck, this bitch needs help. She needs help. And I'm just tired. I think she's such a beautiful woman. Just no shade to her as an actress, right? But you know how sometimes you can't help but to see that person as the character as they play, as with, what's her name? Tiffany character. Well, Amanda Seales' character, Tiffany, she is seen as, kind of shady friend, snippety. And Amanda Seales don't look too different from that. I mean, she doesn't look snippety, but she does come off very elitist, definitely. I do appreciate her take on different topics, and I think she is a strong voice when it's used manageably, but sometimes she could be a little much. But I think, it's unfair to assume someone is exclusively dating you. Okay, here's the thing. Like with Boston Bae, yes, me and him are still fucking. Yes, it is still going down, and I'm not changing that. Okay, but he's been really emotionally available and present during this time, so that's been nice, but me and him been doing this thing for a few years now, and ain't shit official. Let me say it again. Ain't shit official. Okay? We have not had that exclusive talk. I have not sat down with him, nor has he with me, about whether or not, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, like that corny ass shit. I know I just said, you gotta talk to somebody. You gotta have that. I just said corny ass shit. Look, it's different. It's different though with him. It's different. And I don't know. I think, though, I still walk around more so like, okay, well, I'm gonna do me, and we don't really, I'm not gonna talk to him about other niggas, that's weird, and vice versa. And I presume that he's not talking to other bitches because he's a different type of person. Like, he's not a thirsty nigga. He doesn't really need to have that attention all the time. Like, he's not that type of dude. So I could believe that he's really not talking or fucking anybody else. I really could believe that. And maybe I'm boo-boo the fool. So there's that. Anyway, I know for sure, there's, what we have is more than just fucking. Like, it's deeper, emotionally. And I could also say we never had that exclusive talk. So until we do, then we are. Until then, the fuck. The fuck. That's what it is. I was gonna talk about another nigga real quick. Church, let's call him Church Bae. I'm not gonna call him Church nigga. And I'm not saying that because I'm done using the word nigga. No, never that. Nigga. But I am saying, let's evolve him to a Church Bae. Because here's the thing. I know in the previous 2 episodes ago, I'm flaky as fuck. Let's say that. I gotta go. Let's say that. Here's the thing. You know how you are seeing people, right? You know, you're dating somebody, you know, maybe you're dating two people at a time, right? Hence the case with me. And I wouldn't say like date, like, I don't know, like we're not literally going out on dates. It's not like that. But you know, when I'm giving my energy to two different niggas, right? But there's more energy given to Boston Bay. Like that's period. Like if he were to say, Maxine, you know, I realize how down for me you are, you know, that nigga shit. You know, that hood nigga shit. But he's educated though. Anyway, you know, if he were to say that and ask for me to be his woman, you know, for us to really do it exclusively and be with each other, oh bitch, it's yes. It's yes. And I'm saying that with visceral in my voice because I've always seen him as that man, like that nigga, like that type of nigga who really just gets me going. You know, I want someone who is man enough for me, you know, who will be able to check me when I need to be checked, right? And yes, sometimes he could be a little aggressive, maybe sometimes, but he does eventually apologize, and he does, you know, we're not perfect, and there's something that we could grow with when we are with together. You know, what the fuck did I just say? There's something like we could grow, and we have grown more with each other, and there's this comfort, there's this establishment that we've reached with each other and that we continue to reach with each other that I don't think it doesn't make sense to just let it go. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a huge part of me that's waiting for him to eventually say that and for it to all be worth it. And I feel like it'll happen. I just can't tell you when. I can't tell myself when, and it just is what it is. We're just gonna keep on doing what we're doing. It's the fuck it is, okay? Bye. And I'm just gonna get my rocks off sometimes from other ways, you know, because why not? You know, sometimes I just like the attention, and it is what it is. And maybe that makes me a fucked up person. Maybe that does. But I remember talking to another family member of mine, and you know, she was not in the same situation somewhat, but she was saying how, you know, she has his main nigga, she has his side nigga, and you know, if the main nigga finally makes it official and really gets his act together, every other little nigga goes, you know. And I also say that because I look at the differences between the two, and it's so vast. When I tell you the differences between, it's literally night and day. When I tell you I want to be with night, Boston Bay is night, okay? Night. I'll take him night, evening, midnight, demon hours. What are we doing, okay? I do not want a day ass nigga. I don't want it, okay? Anyway, I'm saying that because Church Bay, nice guy. There's so many great things about him that I appreciate him as a friend. That's why I don't want to just be like, oh, fuck him. Because I said to both of them anyway, but like with him, it's like, I think because there's a lot of reasons why I'm just not really interested in making it real official, or official period, not real like it was official, just official period between us, because he's not man enough for me, and that's he's not literally getting a call right now. He's not man enough for me, and I say that because he is a few years younger, and I obviously can't change that, but there's so many reasons that's related to his age that makes me not attracted to him, okay? He is not as established as I need my man to be. He's not as mature in his thinking, and listen, I'm gonna make it as simple as I can right now, just to make it clear. As an example, there was a previous episode when I talked about, and it was a while ago, but I talked about how how I got so annoyed with him and I ended it with him because when I was realizing I don't think I'm really feeling him like that. I think I'm just seeing him as a friend. And one of the reasons that prompted me to feel that way was him telling me his favorite pizza is Domino's. And I'm just sitting there on the phone thinking, sir, what else? Chicken nuggets? Like, what do you mean Domino's is your favorite pizza? Because Domino's is not pizza. Okay? What's that? Little Caesars is not pizza. You want to say, so pretty much you're telling me your full meal, your favorite meal is a chicken nugget. That's what it is. You like the 6-piece, the 4-piece, or the 10-piece. Which one is it? Because that's what it sounds like to me. And when he was going so adamant about why Domino's is his favorite pizza and why Little Caesars hits the spot, I'm just sitting there like, oh no, this is not going to work out. This is not going to work out. And it's just pizza, mama. Everyone has their preferences. That's not the point. That's not the point. You have to reach a point of maturity when you realize your caliber of taste increases, right? You have to reach a point of maturity when you realize, ew, McDonald's make my stomach hurt. Like, I'm too grown for this. Like, you gotta build your immune system to drink wine. You know, you have to open your taste palates to know how to eat a rib, know how to eat steak. And when I tell y'all, he doesn't know how to eat, like, he's never had a steak. He's never had a rib. He's like, and I'm like, wait, have you not had ribs before? Like, how are you saying this is your favorite meal? I remember asking him, I was like, you know, what's your favorite meal? What's your favorite type of food? Burger and fries. This isn't gonna work out. Don't get me wrong, there are some good burgers out there, but when I ask you a question about favorite food and your answer is burger and a fry, I'm hanging up the phone. Do you hear me? I am hanging up the phone, I'm disconnecting it, and I'm changing my number because at this point, you're disrespecting me. As a foodie, this doesn't make any sense to me. You can't tell me your favorite meal is a burger and a fry. I gotta go. So anyway, all that says there's a lack of maturity, and he's the type of man who I realize I would have to teach him how to be the man for me. And I don't want that. I don't want a nigga who I gotta build. You know, it's one thing to build somebody who, you know, you gotta teach people how to love you, right? You know how people say, and even in books, you know, you gotta tell people your love language, right? Or show them your love language. You know, maybe you're someone who loves to be, you know, given gifts. Maybe you're someone who loves, you know, quality time. Whatever the case is, right? That's fine and all. But I'm not going to tell you and teach you and like dress you up as a man. No, nigga, come already as that. And then we could work on other things like, you know, I really like it when, you know, you rub my feet. Like, that's something that we could have. But if I got to build your character, build your... I gotta go. Anyway, so that's the difference between those two, and that's something I feel like I would need him to man up over there, like go through your like develop your manhood on your own and get back to me when time is clear. Okay, when the light is green, hit me up. In the meantime, Boston Bay is still number 1. All right, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm out. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This Podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.